All right, good day. Welcome to Global Gossip with Toronto. We are still here in the beautiful city of Lafayette. And I have with me here excellent guest. I have with me here Mr. Musti. Mr. Musti is a very, very respectable and a seasonal journalist working with one of Nigeria's frontline newspaper. Mr. Musti have a lot of articles and papers ranging from politics, gender, politics, and societal issue. And also I have with me here a very, very strong lady, an excellent lady. She's into politics, a political scientist. She's into gender, humanitarian activities, and also have an excellent experience with non-governmental organization and a public policy experts. So, all right, guys. Here we are here to really talk about a very, very important issue and a very, very excellent issues from if your wife happens to be the governor of a state or get herself engaged in politics, or if possible becoming the president of a country, especially in Africa, will the husband play the role of house husband to help the kids do some kind of house chores so that the wife can focus mostly on her political activities. So let's start from ladies first. Let's start from Miss Faith, a public policy and a political scientist. Let's start from you, Miss Faith. So let's assume that you have this opportunity of becoming the governor of your state or going into the Senate, and your husband said, no, I don't want you to get into politics, I don't want you to do so. How will you feel in this kind of situation? How will you feel?
All right, so first of all, me going into politics, my husband, before I got married to my husband, hypothetically, he has to have the knowledge that, okay, this is the kind of person I'm getting married to.
Okay.
He has to have the knowledge. Okay, I wake up one day, I want to run for, say, maybe a governor of my state, and then my husband says no. First of all, this thing is going to better both of us' life. Even though I know that, yes, there is a stereotype in the society, women cannot do this, women cannot do that. Definitely there will be, people will talk. But then, what your husband says would actually contribute to, I'm going somewhere right now.
Okay.
My husband says no, what do I do? This is something my whole life has been revolved around. I cannot just pause my life because of a man.
Wow, I love that.
Despite the fact that he's my husband, he's my head, I need to respect him, I need to.
Yes.
One thing that women do not understand is the fact that men always have a weak spot. There is a point where there's a way you would talk to a man and he has no other choice than to see reasons with you, reasons why you want to do this, reasons why you want to do that. There is a way to coax a man. He's your husband. You know his weak points. So all this unnecessary, okay, I might not want to say, okay, he's my husband. I will not want to disrespect him because he's my husband. I will still find my way around it. This is something I want.
Wow.
Do you understand? It's as good as say, okay, I want to buy hair, and then I do not have the money to buy the hair. I need to ask my husband for it. I ask my husband, he says no. Definitely, I need that hair. I would look for a way. I will start doing extra good things in the house, being a very good wife. Do you understand? Yeah. So there is a way to do these things. We must not necessarily, there's one thing I want us to understand as women. The fact that we are all advocating for gender equality, gender equity, it doesn't mean we should always be at loggerheads with the other gender. There is a way to get things done diplomatically.
Wow.
We are intellectual people. Yeah, so basically, I think that's what I would do. I would find the best spot to get to my husband.
Wow, that is excellent. Wow, a very good analysis. So, Mr. Musti, what do you have to say regarding to this? Do you have anything to counter before we go straight to your question?
I have a lot to counter from what you said, not because I don't. Please, just for the record, I respect women a lot that go into their career with, let me say, one mind, even if it means sacrificing their marriage or stuff, if they do so willingly. That is, But what she said about being men and women equality and stuff, equality doesn't always mean sameness. when you say men and women are equal, and then women are always advocating for their equality, so that guarantees the woman the right to go into politics because a man is into politics. I don't think it makes sense that way, because the society is always going to be against that. Not that I'm saying the society is what controls us, but it is just a norm in the society that, you know, when you try to bend things that are norm, it doesn't always end well. When you say you are going to make from your own question, I understand that the man has to be the house husband. Is that what you
Yes, house husband. Let's use this word.
Husband.
House husband.
Okay,
Yes.
first of all, men have ego.
But I think this is not about ego. Why I say this is not about ego is because if you're even marrying a woman that is into politics, then you already know that she is into politics, and at any point, any day she can
would run for
yes, she
positions
would
like that,
exactly.
definitely.
So you already know that. So from the beginning, if you have that ego, then you don't go for such women.
Exactly.
So that's why I say it's not ego. But when it comes to the woman making you a house husband, maybe after marriage, because I'm sure that won't be the plan. She won't tell you that, okay, after 2 years I will be running for governor. So women might even deceive you into saying, you know, this is just where I'm comfortable, this is where I want to be, this is the limit that I want to go in my politics. But then when, you know, governorship, it's not something of 2 hours or 5 hours job that she can just go and do and come back home. You have to be the one to be doing most of the things, most of the weeks in the house.
All right, Mr. Mustafa, sorry to cut you short. Like, let's take, for instance, look at what is happening in Nigeria currently, Senator Natasha. Now, look at Senator Natasha. You found out that with everything happening around her life, found out that is a man.
She has the support of her husband.
Support of the husband.
Yes.
Even though you see her getting into loggerhead, getting into some kind of some conflict, political conflict with some strong elite in politics, you find out that there is a man supporting her. Like, there is this saying that even for her taking a copter, flying down to Lokoja to go and run, it was the idea of the husband.
Yes, that was the idea.
Now, Mr. Mustafa, are you telling me that you cannot support your wife's political ambition? Maybe in future your wife have this opportunity of becoming the governor of your state, or if possible running for the presidency. Apart from running for the presidency, running for the Senate. So you cannot support your wife for a complete 4 years. It's not as if you are playing the role of house husband for the whole 4 years, but part-time you'll be with the kids, you'll be with the house. You know, this is politics. The state need your wife to run the day-to-day activities of the state. So are you telling me specifically that you cannot support your wife to go into politics fully? Or are you saying that you will try to discourage your wife for going to? Please try to be blunt with what you are saying, so that we know that this is what you are really saying.
As blunt as I can be, I'm sure this will ruffle a lot of feathers in the media. So, but the thing is that this is coming from my own personal perspective, based on my own values and my own personal experiences and the culture I come from. In Africa and Asia, we always believe that it's a man that nurtures the family. When you try to bend that, it can't even end well. So for me personally, I personally cannot support my wife to go into politics, because before I get married to my wife, I already know she's politically inclined, and I'm not going for her.
All right.
First of all, we have this notion
I'm
that
not just going to end up.
No. We have this notion that
knowing,
once the woman gets into politics, she cannot do any other thing. Women are gifted naturally with the ability to multitask. Wow. She can as well be a governor and still manage her house efficiently. I mean, there are different women that have done it.
When you try to be realistic, that is just impossible. Let's be as realistic.
How is that impossible?
It is impossible for a wife to be a governor and still run the same household chores that she's supposed to be running if she was a household.
If there is one thing I've noticed, is the fact that most men tend to feel intimidated, especially if they are at a lower position. And then their wives get to a higher position, so they feel intimidated because they feel like the man is always supposed to be at the top. Meanwhile,
should we say this is an African mentality?
It is
It's not
an
only an
African
African
mentality.
mentality.
It
It happens
is.
even in Asia. In Asia, in Africa, that is just the mentality. But when you talk about the Western world, I don't have a say on that. But when you say,
Musi, I'm coming. Sorry, I'm
It's not
coming.
only about African
Let me
mentality,
make
it's about
references. You see
tradition.
that because I'm
It's
saying that
about
this
tradition.
is a kind of African mentality. Because was it last year, the last U.S. election, Kamala Harris? Now I remember vividly how the husband supported this woman, the first gentleman of the United States. How the man supported Kamala Harris, the campaign, the man was there, the hectic flying all over with Kamala Harris to make sure that Harris gets the presidency. The man was there, and you know what it means to be the president of the United States of America. It's a very, very tedious and a very, very big job in the whole world. Now, let's assume this woman managed to become the president of the United States of America. That means that the husband will say, no, I don't want you to be the president. So this man was there. So, Mr. Musti, I believe this is an African mentality.
No. That is why I said from the beginning, this is about perspective, my own personal perspective. I'm not trying to undermine women. Women can do it, but from my own perspective, based on my own value and my own culture. Yes.
Musi, it's not your perspective. If we kind of carry the research, you find that 80% of Nigerian African men will go with you. Yes, if possible, let's take a survey.
In my view, it all still boils down to men's ego.
It comes with a stigma also in society, even if the man won't come outside and be telling you guys that, oh, in my area or where I live, people always stigmatize me with the house husband stuff.
Do you want that? This is what we are trying to say. You care about what people would say.
It's not only about
over what your wife's interest is.
That comes with it, it degrades the man's
that's why we said it
is confidence.
That's ego.
And if the man don't have the confidence, who is going to run the house? The woman? Do you want to be the one running your own home?
So basically, men are scared of women getting to the top because they feel that it will hurt.
I believe most women want to go for a man that can make a very strong decision in the house. Do you agree with that?
That's definitely.
So if you are going for a man that can make decision for you, you trust him with the decision of the family, then you are telling me that you are the man is scared of his confidence to be degraded.
The fact that she lets him make decisions doesn't mean she does not have a say in the family.
She has a say, but then when you attack or
you
when
don't see women waking up one day and saying, my husband, you can't do this. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see women waking up to say, okay, this man, you can't do this because. Do you understand? But because it is a woman now, they will feel, okay, you are the wife, you are supposed to go under your husband and obey him, which is fine, definitely. But what then happens to her goals? And many women have given up on their dreams. Many women have given up because of family. Because of family. Yeah. And there's one thing we have. There's this very, very archaic view of feminism we have. These days, nobody is really fighting for gender equality again. We want gender equity. It's gender equity we are fighting for. We're not saying we want to be the head of the family. We're saying let us be involved in decision making. Let us be involved in politics. We're not saying we want to be the president. Even though we want to still be the president, we're not saying we want to be equal with men. We just want equity. In as much as they are giving 50% of the positions to men, give women to don't give it to us based on.
If I understand where she's coming from, based on my own experience, I think this topic is being tweaked from what she's saying, because we are not talking about feminism or gender equality or gender equity.
No, that's where it's actually going to.
It's not coming. We are talking based on the family, based on the man agreeing for his woman to be the governor.
There is still a relationship.
There's a relationship, but then we can't just talk about feminism here or gender equity or gender equality just here.
It still boils down
like
to
that.
All right, Miss Faith, I want to ask a question. Back to you, Miss Faith. I want to ask a question. Let's say, for instance, you have this opportunity of becoming the governor of your state. This is a lifetime opportunity. This is something you have really, really worked for. Now that you're a political scientist, a public affairs, this is something you have really worked for. You have this opportunity, and your husband said, no, I will not let you go into politics. I mean, I will not let you do that. So will you think any negative alternative like leaving the marriage so that you can be able to get to fulfill your lifetime ambition, like the strong woman you are? Kind of say no. I really. What will you do in such?
All right. So first of all, my religion, I am a Christian. It is against divorce.
Okay.
In the sense that you can divorce when abuse, domestic violence is involved, but not on basis like this. Like I said, there are diplomatic ways to handle issues.
Okay.
It is only a foolish person. There is no person that cannot be bent. As long as the person is human, there is nobody that cannot be bent. There is nobody's mind that cannot be worked on. So there are better ways of getting things done, rather than resolving to divorce and some other very violent ways of getting things done. There are very diplomatic ways to do things, and we all know it. We know that there are diplomatic ways to do things, but just that it is usually very hard and it takes time. But as long as you have the passion for whatever it is you want to do, and you see that, okay, you have to do this thing despite the odds. I would go for what I want, but divorce is not an option.
Divorce is not an option in this, like you said. But what if the man insists? The man is insisting that you cannot do that as my wife. As far as you are married to me legally, you can't do that. You can't get into politics, and this is something you really want to do. This is an avenue you want to make change.
Do I need his signature for anything to get done?
He's your husband.
You just said you're a Christian.
Do I need his signature? I know.
He's your husband.
Do I need his signature for me to get things done?
You need his support.
This is something that I need his support, but if he chooses not to support me, this is something that I have been working for my whole life. I cannot now crumble something because you said not to. Meanwhile, you as the man, you are pursuing your dreams. You are pursuing your dreams. So I am the one that should now lay back and then let everything. Wow. I came from a family before I got married to you. My parents sent me to school for a reason. I also have dreams that I've been working on. So I can't just give up on my dreams because of, like I said, it all boils down to understanding in a marriage. First of all, the man knew the kind of person, just like he said, the man knows the kind of person he'll get married to, even though there are some times that there are some complications in the process. They'll lie to you from the beginning, and then at the end you start seeing a different result.
If your husband doesn't agree, is it a deal breaker to you?
It is a deal breaker.
So if it is a deal breaker, that means it's going to cost your marriage.
It's going to cost your marriage.
Yes. It actually depends on the woman again. Do you understand? There is always a way to go around these things. Not everything must lead to divorce. Do you understand? I will leave my house, go and do my thing. Do you understand? So you cannot stop me from. I'm not leaving my husband.
But you leave the house.
I'm not leaving my husband. I'm not leaving my children. I would go and pursue my dreams and come back as long as I am not cheating. I am not. Do you understand? As long as I am not cheating, you can't just. What basis do you have to tell me not to do this thing?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask something now. When you just wake up today, you say you are a student, right? And then that means you're still at your parents' house, and then you just decide to leave your parents' house and go elsewhere.
Children do it every time.
Yes, okay. So is that leaving your home or not?
That's like that one they left the house. Do you understand? I am saying I would leave my house in the morning. I am a career woman for God's sake.
You don't mean you're going to pack out of the house?
Why would I pack out of the house? I am married. He's my husband.
So then it's not a deal breaker for you then?
I am married. If he chooses to support me, fine. If he doesn't, I get things done my own way. But either ways, I would still pursue my dream. That is it.
Wow, that is fantastic. All right, Mr. Musti, coming to you, what do you really have to say regarding to what she just said? What do you want to say? What do you want to add on?
I think I've said everything.
He will not let his wife.
I've said everything.
All right. I want to ask this question. This is a very, very intellectual-based question. A very, very critical one at that matter. Now, why is it that in Western world like Western Europe, in North America, in New Zealand, the former Prime Minister is a woman. United States of America in 2016, Hillary Clinton contested election to become the president of the state. Currently, the previous election that just concluded, Kamala was there. Apart from that, again, in UK, we have different women becoming the prime minister of United Kingdom, even in Dutch. Like it's a kind of like it's something that is very, very random, is very, very common in Western world. Why is it that here in Africa we can't replicate that? Why is it that it is very, very like rigid seeing women taking political positions? Now, believe you me, all those women we are seeing over there in North America, they are happily married. Hillary Clinton is happily married. Kamala is happily, all of them, they are happily married with their husband doing well. Why is it that they are not having any kind of conflict or any kind of marital confrontation because of their political ambition? Are we to look into that one of the reasons that women are not, they don't have this boldness to come out is that at home there is some kind of internal things we don't know, that men try to press the women down, look less on the women, because most time you find out that whenever a woman is trying to like come up in career, you see some kind of attitude that the men give to women, especially in this African enclave. So are we saying that the problem is from the men subduing their wife, bringing their wife down, making their wife to look less than, when you make someone look less at home, outside the person will not have this kind of confidence to do what you are doing. Right. So are you saying, let's hear your point from this, please. Let's start from Musti. Let's hear your point from Musti down to Faith. Let's hear from you.
Like I said, for me, I'm not trying to downgrade any woman or try to undermine her. So you can't say that men always undermine the women at home, because we also have 80% of happily married women also in Africa. It's not only in the Western world that we have happily married women, as I said, in the family that live in harmony. In Nigeria also here, let's narrow it down here, it also happens there. So, and then you find out that it's not that the men are undermining the women at home or trying to look less or look down on them. That's what I know. But I think it's just the way the tradition is. Like, I think it's just the norm of the
It's
society.
the stereotype, which is the disease that is in Africa. First of all, okay, if you do not want your wife to contest for political positions, what are your reasons? Very candid reasons, first of all. For example, you said you would not let your wife. What reasons do you have? From that now we can know, okay, this is, for you to think like that, it is something that, let's say, more than 70% of the men will also think the same way that you do. So what are your reasons for not letting your wife?
I've told you, my first reason, the lack of confidence. Let me tell you, the lack of confidence doesn't come with an ego, but it's the stigma of the society. The man will always feel less if it is the woman that is providing.
Because I have noticed that most men that support their women actually are in already high positions.
There's no
so
way.
They only support their women to, at least they are already in a high position. Do you understand? But anything that makes their woman above them, they do not want it. So it is a stigma in Africa particularly.
But what do you have to say? Like, both of you are a social scientist. What do you have to say in terms of comparing the Western world and Africa? Why is it that in Western world we are having more of independent, career-oriented women in politics, in different walks of life, and their husbands are not bothered? Whereas here in Africa, the reverse is the case. You are having women with low self-esteem. I mean, they are all over Africa with low self-esteem, no confidence. They are not doing something, they are not pushing beyond their entity. What is the problem when you look at what is happening in the Western world and look at what is happening in Africa in terms of women engaging themselves in public affairs? Miss Faith, what do you have to say about that?
I think it's part of the stereotypes where men have made it look as though women are beneath them.
Okay.
In a way, they've made it look as though women are beneath them. And then women have grown with this mentality. And it is something that we also have to work on in Africa. The women, we need to work on their minds, because they have already put themselves under men. Even though we don't want to be on the same level with men, but have some dignity for yourself as a woman. There are things you can do. There are things you can do as a woman. So it is part of the stereotypes. Men have made it look as though women are beneath, and it's something that should really be worked on. So basically, it all boils down to that.
So the women need to work on their mindset and mentality.
Yes, women need to work on their mindset. I saw a post on Twitter recently. Somebody posted something. She was like, she's praying that God should give a man enough money to take care of her. And then under the post, I saw a comment. So why are you not praying for yourself as a woman to get the money? Must you be relying on a man to get the money? So it is something that the society have made it look like women are, should I say, second-class citizens. And then the
women
men
are second-class citizens.
Do you understand? But it's something that we really need to work on.
Hey, do you agree that women are second-class citizens in this, like what she just said? Do you agree?
Even if I would agree with her, it is just the norm of society, just as it is the role of the women to just do what they're supposed to do at home and just
do what they're supposed to do.
Yes.
That's like you're trying to say something like what the former president Muhammadu Buhari said one time.
Okay.
Exactly.
Where he said a woman's position is in the kitchen and in the other room. That was a very wrong statement. Wrong. It sounded very
and it kind of resonates among the women's folks.
Yes,
like the women are saying, okay, we belong to the other kitchen, we don't have anything to, I can say that even the men, they are trying to see how to subject the women into that.
They keep saying that the reason why men are above is because they are more financially stable and then they can take care of.
It's not only
they don't give women the opportunity to
stable.
This
men always have to be the ones to take the decision. I just asked you now, if you are in your own home, would you want to be the one making the decisions in your own home and your husband just sits back?
It depends on the kind of decision. First of all, every woman wants a man that
a very strong decision making is definitely what I'm talking about.
I understand what you are trying to say.
I understand, but Musi, you are trying to the decision you are talking about is that remember that you as a man, you make the decision at home. But outside, if your wife is the governor, your wife makes the decision outside. But at home, you are in charge.
But when you say women should be the president, that means you are trying governors. You're trying to make the gender of man and woman the same.
That is not it. We're all humans. We all have the right to vote.
I believe every gender just has its own rules in society.
And then they all have their own rules, but it doesn't apply politically. It is not supposed to. When it comes to family, I respect you as my husband. You are my husband. You are my head. You are my crown. Whatever. You are the head of my house. But when it comes to my career, we should be able to set a very good line between family and career.
I get where you are going. I really get where you are trying to go. And I think Musti is getting where you are going, but Musti is trying to maintain this kind of, should I say, maintain this kind of African traditional leadership. Yes, I understand from this aspect. I do understand. But what I'm trying to say, my own opinion is this. I believe that career should differ from what happened at home. You have your own career.
Yes.
I have my own career. At home, the man's supposed to be the head of what happened.
Definitely.
But that does not mean that you being the governor, or you being a well-established lady, you will not take orders, you will not respect your husband. Alright, thank you guys for joining us here. This is Global Gossip with Toronto. And remember that this podcast is not limited to Nigeria. We gossip things from Europe, from the United States, down to Africa, down to Nigeria. We bring you educative issues from women in politics, global politics, climate change, education, sustainability. So thank you guys for being here with us. I want to specially thank my wonderful guests. This is a very educative interaction. At least we're able to bring up our point. I want to thank you, Miss Faith, for being here with us. I really want to thank Mr. Musti. You guys all made a very valid point. Thank you guys for having you here. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Alright, do well to like, subscribe and share. Like our YouTube channel. Press the notification bell so that anytime a new video comes up, you'll be the first person to know. Ciao.
Alright.